there, my friends. Welcome back to Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm Brandy. Today's video is very fun. I took this simple wreath. Now this wreath, I picked up 3 of them last year in February. I got them on clearance at 90% off. They were $2.90. They're very basic. So I'm taking these wreaths and I got 3 of them, and I'm going to show you 3 totally different designs that I can do. Now first I'm taking this Merry Christmas sign because I'm going to use that on one of the wreaths. And I'm just painting it white. Now this Merry Christmas sign came from Hobby Lobby, so it is very easy to pick up. They're not real expensive. If you look at my last video, I'll tell you how much they were, but I don't know exactly right now, but not real expensive. So I'm just painting the front of this sign. It says Merry Christmas in white. The wood is pretty too, and you could leave it that way, but I wanted the white to really pop against the green wreath. So I just painted this with white, regular white acrylic paint. So how's everybody doing today? Everybody getting ready for Christmas? I am doing some Christmas shopping and getting ready. Doing obviously Christmas crafts, and hope to have all of those done by the end of October, and then in November I get to decorate, so I'm excited about that. But first I really need to do like a deep clean of my home, so that'll probably be the first week in November, where or maybe even if I get all the crafts done before then, maybe before, but I got some more crafts to make and I got to get those done, and then I am going to start decorating my home for Christmas. I'm excited. So again, I just painted that whole sign with Merry Christmas. I let that dry. Alright, so I take, like I said, this wreath is very thin. It's it has the wire, not the wire, I'm sorry, forget what it's called, but it's like it's like grapevine. That's what it's called, grapevine wreath at the back. It had in some leaves that to me did not look Christmas. There's eucalyptus, there's these little plastic ones that don't look very good, and then I'm pulling all of those out. I'm pulling out the pine cones and the berries as well, because I'm going to kind of rearrange them. I want to have room for my sign on one side, and I want to have room for a bow on the other, so I'm just kind of moving those things around to get the most out of those, and I just push them back into the grapevine wreath. And then I place the Merry Christmas just to kind of see how it's going to look. I grab my I guess it's twine, and I'm going to tie that on there. And then I had gotten some garland. I'm having trouble with my words today. I don't know why. But I've gotten some garland at Hobby Lobby, 50% off, and I got the inexpensive garland to add to these wreaths. So I'm using the green first, and I'm just kind of cutting sections. I'm not putting it all the way around because that just kind of seems a waste, but I'm cutting 2 or 3 sections, and we're just kind of placing those there to fill in more. And then I got this other greenery. It feels, like the other kind of fern, and I'm cutting some of that to go on here. It also has pine cones on it, so that'll add a couple of more pine cones. But I just want to add more definition, more thickness. I cut this one down into different pieces because I wanted to put these sporadically throughout. So again, when you've got a grapevine wreath, you can easily just kind of push things down into the grapevine and get them to stay without any hot glue. And that's what I did on those for these pieces. I just kind of stuck them in, pushed them way down in there. I did not glue anything. I did kind of just twist and fluff and stick it in there to where it will stay. It is very secure. It's not going anywhere, but it is also, if somebody wanted to take it completely apart, there's no hot glue here, so would be very easy to take it apart. So this wreath is more vintage, rustic looking. That's the look I'm going for this first wreath. I looked online, Pinterest, and I found some wreaths to replicate. I didn't show you the pictures of them because they're just, I was just looking to see what was kind of on sale this year so I could get some ideas. I didn't replicate exactly, so I'm not going to show you those. I just got some ideas, but wreaths, if you look on any website, wreath costs are so expensive. So getting this wreath base for $2.90 in February at 90% off, you really got to watch in the clearance beginning of the year for Christmas stuff. Especially if you're going to make a wreath, you can buy these wreaths very simple, very basic for inexpensive, and you can really make something beautiful. Now I have these two Dollar Tree ribbons. The one is like a deep red, and I'm going to make a bow out of that, and then I'm going to use this burlap with the lace over it, and I just kind of layer them up on top of each other. I'm cutting some various lengths of the ribbon, and I'm just kind of matching them up there so that I can get the same length of the ribbon. But this basic wreath can turn into so many different things, and again, I saved so much money buying it in February. When it went 90% off, I was at Walgreens, of all places. I wasn't looking for Christmas stuff. I just saw these wreaths and I was like, oh, there's 3 of them, I'll pick up 3, and then I just stored them away until this year. So these were not anything spectacular, and to pay $29 for those I thought would have been such a ripoff, but $2.90 at 90% off, I was pretty okay with that. So again, I'm not a bow maker, so I'm not going to tell you how I'm making this bow. I'm just kind of putting it together. I'm not a bow maker, so I'm constantly learning. I'm watching videos on how to make bows all the time, and sometimes they turn out, sometimes they look awful, but you know, I'm just I'm putting some twine in there too, and with the zip ties, so that I can just kind of tie it on there. But I thought that these two ribbons looked really pretty together. The burlap with the lace over top of the red, I just thought that that really gave it a vintage rustic look, and that's kind of what I'm going for with this one. So I did 3 totally different styles of wreaths in this video, so just to kind of give you a variety of what you can make out of the exact same thing, a very basic wreath, by adding some more filler to it and adding different picks or different designs to it, the different looks you can get. Now this one, all it has is the greenery, the pine cones, this sign, the berries, and the ribbon. Very vintage, very rustic, but again, very, very beautiful. I thought this one turned out very beautiful, and I'm just tying everything on with the twine so that it stays, but it is also not permanent if anything needs to change on this sign later on. And no, I do not keep all the wreaths that I make. I make a lot of wreaths. I do not keep most of them. I have one front door, so I keep that wreath, and I have a couple others that I hang inside my home, but the rest of them I just give away to friends and family. This one is going to my new niece-in-law and my nephew. They got married this year, and I knew I was making some wreaths, so I asked her what style she was looking for. She gave me several ideas, and this is what I came up with for them. So they don't have a lot of Christmas decorations yet, and you know, again, I make them for videos and so forth, and because I want to see what I can do with a little amount of money. And this wreath, I ended up paying for everything total, if you add up even the garlands that I bought, because I spread them over several different projects, I made this for less than $25. So you can do that. Wreaths will cost you anywhere between $50 and $150 to $200. They are outlandish in price. I would never pay that for a wreath. But even if you get the ones at Walmart that are $25 to $35 to $40, sometimes they just look basic, and they're not the most, they're not very beautiful to hang on your doors. So this one is much more unique and customized to specific needs, and I think that that just is better all the way around when you add a little bit for a little bit of money, and you can make something very personal and very unique that is just yours. So I'm just using the twine to tie the bow on, and then I secure the Merry Christmas, and then that is it. This one is just about done. I'm just tying everything down to it, and I'll show you all of the wreaths at the end. of the video, just stick around. You can see the reveal of all of the wreaths at the end. I think it's fun to kind of look at something and be like, oh, I can make this and this and this. I can make 3 different, totally different designs with the same wreath that only cost me $2.90. And if you are in the market for a new wreath and you don't need one this year, but you know next year you will need one, go shopping after Christmas. Go shopping in January all the way into February, wherever you can find it. When you see the sale price of 90% off, you got to kind of watch and you got to kind of dig, but you can find, I get everything that I need for Christmas crafts the year before, for 2 reasons. One, because I need to start crafting so early if I'm going to make it all in time for videos and anything like that. 2, because the price. I get it for so cheap that way, and it works out so well. Alright, now we are on to the second wreath. Again, I am pulling off the berries, the greenery that does not look Christmassy. I'm pulling off all the things I don't want for this wreath. And this is my elegant design wreath. This one was, I saw this one online. Believe it or not, it was $150, and then another like $40 for shipping, which I understand shipping costs are a lot, but that's a lot to spend for a wreath. And so this one did cost me a little bit more to make because the flowers, I got the Real Touch flowers from Hobby Lobby, even though they were 40% off. It did cost me a little bit more to make this one. So this one cost me total about it was like $37 and some change to make this one, which is still very inexpensive for a gorgeous, elegant, beautiful wreath. And so I'm just kind of fluffing what's left on here, just kind of, you know, spreading it around and making sure that it's where I want it to be. And then again, I'm taking the garlands and I'm cutting pieces off of them to make this one bigger and thicker all the way around. And that's going to be the same for each one, so I'm not going to really focus on it again. I'm just kind of going to talk a little bit through this while I'm doing this part, because this is pretty, I cut off a little bit more of this greenery for this one because I wanted it really full and elegant. I still have more of the greenery left even after using the greenery to make the wreaths. So here I go. I am just, again, pushing it into the grapevine and making this thin wreath very full, very thick, and very, you know, very expensive looking. It is, and here in New England, it has begun to turn into fall. It is getting cooler. It's still not cold, which is great for me. I love the cooler weather, but I don't like cold, freezing weather. We've had quite a bit of rain here though. Have you guys had a lot of rain where you are? My allergies have been going a little crazy. This back and forth weather really does tend to, it dries out my skin and it makes my sinuses just go a little haywire. So again, you can see me just taking different pieces of the garland. I'm shoving them in, and then I'm kind of just fluffing and zhuzhing and making sure that they all are where they should be. Now, for this wreath, I had seen one online again. It was very expensive, and it had this deep wine color, which I love anyway, so that's, you know, a theme for me. And it had large roses and smaller roses, little cabbage roses, to make up this wreath. So this is what I got. I got the florals from the little small florals came out of the wedding department at Hobby Lobby, and the large roses came from the floral department. They were the Real Touch. They look like real stems. I actually saved the stems for other projects because I don't need those for this one, but they do have gorgeous leaves. They are very beautiful. And these flowers were originally like $7 a piece. And that is quite a bit to pay for one flower. Now again, they were 40% off, so they were a little cheaper than that, but they do add up. So I'm just kind of placing them where I want them at first. And then I go back, once I have them all kind of spaced out, then I go back and kind of just put them into the grapevine. I shove them in and secure them. I don't have to use anything other than the grapevine to secure these. I didn't need any wire, anything else. So then I just add in the berries and some of the pine cones, and that is it for that one. It is so simple to put together, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, sorry, I do take these deep burgundy, these deep wine colored berries, and I do place those around. But again, got these at Hobby Lobby. They were 40% off. They were not in the Christmas stuff, they were just in the regular floral section, but these were pretty inexpensive, and I only use a portion of these for this project, so there's plenty of those left, which I plan to, I don't know, I might just take those apart and use them in my own Christmas tree, just because I think they're beautiful. Just kind of spreading it around and seeing where I like it, and then I go back in and just insert them into the grapevine. Alright, here is the third wreath. This one is a little bit different because this one actually has like a swag tail hanging off from the side down, so that one was a little bit more, I used a little bit more of the Real Touch garland for this one. I kind of wrap it all the way around this one, and I don't use any of the other garland. But that was the look that I saw online for this one, and it was very unique, and so I was like, oh, this one's gorgeous and unique, so I made this one. And I'm just, again, taking the wire ends and pushing them into the grapevine. And I do take some, I believe I used some string to kind of secure that, especially at the end where it's hanging down into like a little swag at the end. Very unique style for a wreath. I'd never seen it before, so I decided I was going to try it. I, pulled out the things I didn't like again. I did leave the red berries in because that was in the wreath that I was doing, so. And then you just gotta kind of fluff, and everything is wired in these wreaths and in these florals, so it's very easy to just kind of manipulate them. And then I take ornaments. I've got, again, this wine red ornaments. These come in 3 different sheens. One is matte, one is glitter, and one is glossy. And so I'm just kind of spreading them out where I want them. Now these are the small size. I got these at Hobby Lobby. Again, at 50% off, so these were pretty inexpensive. This wreath did cost about $40 to make, but again, that's really inexpensive when you are talking about wreaths that cost. This one was priced again at $125, and that was without the shipping cost, so very expensive. I did not hot glue these down. What I did was I used, comes from Dollar Tree. It's like gardening. It comes out in the spring, and it's like a spool of twisty ties. And so I just pull them off, cut them, the length that I need, and then I twist them into the hook where you would normally put the hook for the ornament, and then I just attach them with the twisty tie around a branch. They are very secure, they're not going anywhere, and it just really, it gets them secure, gets them where you want, and then you can kind of manipulate them because again, that's wired, so you can kind of turn them how you want them to look. And this is green twisty ties, so it does stand out a little because it's kind of like a cheap looking green, but you just kind of bury it in the leaves and it doesn't look like, you can't even see it because it does blend in after you kind of bury it in. So this one took the longest out of all 3 to make, and I think it turned out gorgeous. This one is going to my sister. I sent her a picture. I always send my sister pictures of everything I make, my sister and my mom, and I just like, hey, how do you think I did on this? How does this look? And they're always my, they always take a look and see what I'm doing, and I always get their approval. It's nice to be able to share it with them. So I sent this one to my sister, and she really liked it, and I was like, well, do you need a wreath? She was like, yeah. I was like, it's yours, you got it. I don't need it, I don't have a place for it this year, so I can't do any wreath with like ornaments or anything thick on it because I have a glass screen door, and so there's not much space in between my door and my screen door, so I can't use this wreath at all on my door. So I was making it simply to see, because I thought it was so unique, the way it had the swag hanging down. And when it's hanging, you can really see. It's hard to tell on the table here, but all I'm doing is adding all of these little ornaments, and then I go in later and add the larger ornaments. I would like for you to do me a favor. I would like for you to like this video and subscribe. I have now reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. I am just now trying to get all my watch hours so that I can become monetized. If you have time, if you can go back and watch some of my older videos, if it's Christmas time, and I've put Christmas videos out every year. So if you want to watch, go back and see what I make out of nutcrackers. If you want to see how I made the Christmas story leg lamp, I've made videos on all of those. They are fun to watch. Go back and watch those. Help me get those watch hours up. Watch from beginning to end. Please like any video you watch. Please comment on any video. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. All of this is free. All of this is very easy to do. It just takes one little click. If you don't feel like leaving an actual comment, go in the comment section and just leave an emoji. It reacts the same way. The algorithm picks it up the same way. And I really, really appreciate the interaction. So if you have not seen some of my previous videos, my Christmas videos, please go back and watch those. I enjoyed making them, and I love sharing stuff with you guys. So please, I would love to get this channel monetized so that these crafts can kind of pay for themselves. I'm not trying to make a living off of this channel. I just want the crafts to pay for themselves. And since I'm a horrible salesperson and end up giving everything away, because that's just, I can't put a price on things I make and sell it, and I am a cheapskate. I don't like to, well, sorry, I'm very frugal, and I don't like to spend a lot of money on things, so I really don't like to charge a lot of money on things. So anything I make and sell, I basically sell it just at what it cost me to make it, kind of thing. I don't really make profit off of anything that I actually do sell. And so I would like to monetize my channel so that I can get it to pay for the crafts, the things I make, to show you. And that will also enable me to bring more crafts to you on a more regular basis. So just, if you can, please do that for me. Again, comment down on this video. Tell me which of the 3 wreaths you like the best. Did you like the rustic elegant one? Did you like the rustic vintage one? Did you like the elegant rose? Or did you like this modern swag ornament wreath? Because this one is very unique. I love all 3 of them. I think they all turned out beautifully. I'm very proud of how all 3 of these turned out. But I would love to know what you think, and it'll be easier to tell what they all look like when they're hanging on the door. I did take pictures of that for the end. So, let me know. Also, let me know, I've just recently started adding music in my videos. It is quiet while I'm talking. I do like to, have the background music. It makes it nice. I'm trying this out, so let me know if you think the music is too loud or too quiet. Let me know if it sounds good. I hear one thing here, and I'm trying to get other people's opinions on how it sounds to them. Also, I'm very excited because next year, either beginning in January or February, I am going to start a series on sewing. I learned how to sew when I was probably 12, 13 years old. My mom bought me a sewing machine and I learned how to sew. My mom sewed, so I learned from her. But sewing is a way that you can make things in your home very inexpensive, especially if you're just making pillow covers, or decorating with curtains, things like that. You can make if you just know how to use a sewing machine. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to use your sewing machine, what all the parts of the sewing machine are, how you do all the things on a sewing machine. I'll teach you that, and the basics of sewing as well. So I'm looking forward to that coming next year. And again, I'm still adding all, like I said, this one took me the longest. I'm still adding all the small ornaments, and then I go back in and add some larger ones. I love these packs that come from Hobby Lobby because they have are all the same color, but they have the different sheens. Like some are the glossy, and then you have the matte ones, and then you have the glitter ones. And if you, even with all the same color, it looks totally different. It gives a totally different look and a lot more depth, just to have the different colors, the different finishes of the same color. So here I'm going in with the larger, these are still like medium size, these aren't huge. Again, because this is a wreath for a door, I don't want the ornaments to be too big, but these are the ones, the medium sized ones that came from Hobby Lobby in the same section there. So I'm adding these the exact same way, putting the twisty tie through the little loop there and just looping them around a branch, twisting it, securing it on there. And these are secure, they're not going anywhere. And this is sped up quite a bit, so this looks like it's going a little faster than it actually went. If you do make this and you do it the same way, now it's quicker if you just use hot glue. To me, that may not be as secure, especially depending on your climate. If the sun hits your door, it can melt that that hot glue, so it's not always wise. Now I got this little bell ornament from Hobby Lobby, and I'm using that with just some sheer ribbon in the same wine color. I had this on hand. I make the tails really, really long at first, so that when it's hanging on the door, I can kind of see how long I want them, and I don't cut them until it's hanging on the door. It was easier because the tail on this wreath, I wasn't sure how long I'd want the tails on the ribbon, and I just kind of did a double tail, a double bow, and just tied it, you know, shoestring tie, and then put those there with that ornament with the little bells, and that's the part that's hanging down with the swag part. And the bells are the only thing that are any other color. Everything's red and deep red, and the green, of course, with the greenery. So I just used twine again to secure the bow and the little ornament with the bells on it to the wreath. And it's hard here on the table to kind of see the bells, but you can see them in when they're hanging on the door. At least I can. I don't know if you can in the picture, but.
Angels we have heard.
So just finishing this up, I am going to leave
sweetly singing o'er the plains.
Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these.
And the mountains in reply,
like, subscribe, watch this video.
Echoing their joyous strains.
I'm excited to share more videos.
Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem.